Hey there, folks. My name's Mike Clark. I'm one of the co-founders here at Developing Australian Communities. You may know that we run some of the largest disability and NDIS-related events all over Australia. It's my absolute privilege and pleasure to be joined by Scott Hunt, who is the founder and CEO of Fit Your Ability. Welcome aboard, Scott.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah. We're teaming up today because Scott and his organization, Fit Your Ability, is actually the largest NDIS registered personal training organization in Australia. They recently attended the Brisbane Disability Connection Expo with us, and I was chatting to Scott as we're passing. I said, "How'd it go, Scott?" He said, "It's been fantastic." And he mentioned that he actually generated 193 inquiries and connections, meaningful connections that have supported the endeavours of his organisation. And I thought, with so many exhibitors, we get about 800 a year coming through our events. We've had over 3,000 come through our events over the last 3.5 years. So I wanted to create this video. Hopefully it's going to be used as a useful tool for yourself if you're considering to attend an expo, or perhaps you've already registered to attend our expo or another, and you're thinking, how do I actually get a result like that? I would love to get a result like that. So I thought, well, let's get Scott on here. Instead of me trying to repeat some of the examples that he shares, let's hear it from himself directly. So Scott, thanks for freeing up some of your time, mate. And I know that a lot of people are going to be tuning in with bated breath in terms of some of the ideas you have here. Before we do that, mate, tell us a bit about yourself and Fit Your Ability.
Yeah, sure. So long story short, we've been in business 25 years now, actually. I started a business as myself, was a teenager. Fitness Enhancement is our original name. Always been about helping people who can't or won't go to a gym. We've always had clients with disabilities. We sort of grew and sort of over the years have grown. For about 10 years now, I've been sort of the largest in the space of what we do. And then, of course, NDIS led us to really double down helping more people with disabilities. And so that sort of helped us grow a bit more as well. Hence the name Fit Your Ability is all about helping people with disabilities. We are NDIS registered for personal training and NDIS registered for core supports. And we're the only fitness company in Australia with that, as far as I'm aware. So it lets us really help more people. And we really come in there where he has so many great support worker companies, so many great allied health companies, so many great in the fitness industry, but there's not many that bridge that gap in between. And that's where we really sit to help people on the NDIS train with a trainer and get results that everyone deserves to do. So that's a bit about me.
That's fantastic. I've been a big proponent of health and fitness over the years, and I think it's a core part of living a healthy lifestyle and getting out there and being able to just maximize your abilities, regardless if you have disability or not. Just being able to, the more fitter and the healthier we are, the more we can do, full stop. So I'm really pleased for the work you're doing and the support you're bringing to the sector. And let's jump into a bit. I'd love to understand a bit about what do you do before an expo? What do you do at an expo and after it to make sure that you maximize the opportunity? And the question I've got for you before we jump into some of the mistakes is what do you see? What is the real value for you for being able to, execute really well at an expo? And what does it mean for you and your organization in order to do that?
Yeah, well, we do a lot of marketing. We're really big with our, Google rankings, Facebook ads, and all those different things. But of course, the best marketing is a great product, right? It's just to do a great job. But the reality is, no one knows how great you are until they find out about you in the first place. So we're all over every single angle of marketing with things around that. And then that's where we're really, really good with everything in the first place. So we really know our numbers about what works for us and what doesn't work for us around that. So as far as what it's worth to us, I guess, what price do you put on the value of a great customer? One, to help your business, the jobs it creates in your business, but two, then the amount of people that you can help that are on the NDIS to actually really, really help them achieve their goals as well. So everyone should know their numbers in the business, what's worth to us. In regards to then how much you put into the expo, well, what's it worth for you to get double the results versus half the results if you can really, really grow better off following some simple strategies that we're going to go through today? What's it worth to you to have a great result versus just an okay result?
Absolutely, and there's some simple practical things, which I know you're going to share with us. So, as a starting point, we had a bit of a chuckle when we were preparing for this in advance. Because sometimes people have not been to expos before. We get many exhibitors who are coming for their first time, or perhaps they've got a well-established organization, but they're now ready to increase capacity to help and serve more people. So they're coming along, but there's before we jump into what really works, I think we should address like what doesn't, because that's the elephants in the room where people can come along. And me being someone who is a promoter of the events, we're doing it because we want to support the sector. We want to support those living with disabilities to be able to find the right people, meet the right people to then engage, and hopefully they can get better quality care and service off the back of it. But what are some of the classic mistakes you see exhibitors, meaning people at exhibitions with a booth?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What are some
Yeah,
of
no,
the
we see it a lot, and the thing is, I think it's important to remember we can only be great at one or two things. You might be amazing at what you do in your trade with your allied health or physio or whatever it is. It doesn't mean you're great at marketing and sales. Intrinsically, that's what we're doing there. We're plugging ourselves, going, I'm the best. Come to me, right? So you've got to simply get good at it. I think the biggest mistake comes back to not getting outside your comfort zone. Personally, for me, I hate that stuff. I'm an introvert. I like one-on-one private PT, and it's not getting outside your comfort zone. And then if we look at what that means, that normally means then the exhibitors sitting behind a desk like I am now, not really making eye contact with people, not talking with people. If the person comes to speak to them, they're doing an amazing job because they're an amazing person with what they do, but they're not getting out there and actually talking to the person. So I think the first one is don't sit behind your desk, don't be an introvert, don't wait for them to come to you. Stand out in front, stand at the pile of business cards and brochures, smile, make eye contact, pass it to people. Naturally, when you pass something to them, they're more likely to take it versus, would you like a brochure? People don't respond when you do those things. So get out there and get out of your comfort zone is probably the biggest one. And for myself and my staff, that's been one of the biggest ones is get out there and do those things.
Yeah, I see a classic one as well, as where not only are people sitting behind the desk, but instead of being engaging and being out front, they're sitting on their device and they're
Exactly
head down like this. I think another mistake I see is that people mistake can be, particularly at our events, where so many providers are looking to work with one another. We call it the Disability Connection Expo. This is not just about connecting with participants and their family members. It's also about connecting with the people around you. Like there's people, there's providers left, right, and center. But if your mindset is going in there, like I'm only going to talk to people that are the participants, well, there's this huge missed opportunity from the networking side of it as well. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. And I know the first one I went to back when we just become NDAs registered, like, I don't know if I can justify this big expense to go to. I just went around networked and it was so good to meet some people. Actually got a couple of clients out, but even just doing that, which was free. Like get in there and do a stall. But even if you're going and testing it out for one, get along there and network and meet people. But the biggest thing I got was just learning from other NDAs providers and making those connections, just exactly like the connection we have here now with this. That's really, really priceless as well to do that. And yeah, build those relationships. And I've found compared to coming from the fitness industry, it's so welcoming and supportive with everyone realizing that we're on the same page. We are fortunate in this respect that we tend to be the only fitness company at any disability expo. So we tend to get people going, oh my God, tell me what you do. I've never heard of an NGO registered PT. So we are fortunate in that respect. Yep. So that definitely helps. But for those of you who are going, yeah, well, there's 20 other disability support companies here, it might even be even more important for you to follow these steps, because what's going to make them choose you are the other 19 people who businesses who are somewhat in competition to you. And it's not going to be who's the best in support work. It's going to be who can build the biggest connection there at that expo is why they're then going to call you after the expo, because they're going to remember you because you made that connection. So just bear that in mind, and what's it worth to you and your business to be able to get those connections versus people going, there was that great person I spoke to, what was the name? I can't remember who they were. And then they call the one who they can remember.
Yeah, definitely. And listen, there's probably more mistakes. I think they'll probably come out in through the wash of it all as well, because there's a few ideas that got popping already. But I think maybe if we switch gears and move into what are some of the things you do before an expo, Scott, in order to maximize things. So if anyone's sitting here going, whether it's your first expo or not, maybe you've been to a few of them, right? Or maybe you're a seasoned campaigner with it all. Hopefully, some of these tips will resonate with you. But I think it's like the preparation phase is so important. And so many people leave it to the last minute. And it's like, oh, I've registered. Oh, great. Booked, got it in. And then it's like a week out. Ah!
Yeah,
So, what are some
exactly.
of the tips? What
Yeah.
do you guys do to
So
get it right?
So I think plan out your stand as the first one. You don't actually need to spend a lot of money. If anyone's seen my stand, and hopefully I've made impact and people have, we haven't actually spent a fortune on it compared to some people, but it's decked out with lots of exciting, interesting things. And plan that out. For us, we have a little inflatable boxing bag, one that's sort of injury proof basically, there's a little inflatable one for anyone to come along and give it a punch. For you guys, you might find something else that's engaging. So you can find those different things to actually get the engagement up there. So plan that stuff out beforehand. Plan out your staff as well. Obviously, well staffed, because if there's two people sitting behind a desk, you don't need more than that because they're doing nothing anyway. But if you're doing what we're doing, we'll often have 5 staff on at one time, and we'll have 5 personal trainers all busy, all talking to people at one time. And if we had 4 there, which sometimes we do, we're then letting people guide by and we're not getting to talk to them. So for us, it's pretty much 5 trainers on the go at any one time, all busy the whole time. That action creates action as well. So plan out your staff, find the people who are going to be the right people who bring the energy to it as well, and do that. The other big one is work on something to actually get the lead. So Mike mentioned at the start, we got 193 leads, 193 connections. So that was 193 written inquiries with people wanting more information about our service. I would say we got more like 1,000 good connections personally, but 193 written ones where people filled out a form saying, I want more information on your personal training services or whatever else you do. So figure out a way to do that. Now, I do see some people doing competitions, but there's normally a little entry box sitting on the side. No one's really plugging it like anything else. So plan out what you're going to do, plan out what you're going to give away. For us, it's 10 personal training sessions at any of our locations all across Australia. We are whether it be NDIS PT or regular PT, they can use it for either. And plan that out so you've got that there and get that right with the team as to what they're going to be saying, how they're going to be getting out. Because a competition entry box sitting in the corner no one knows about, no one's going to fill that one out, are they?
Yeah, absolutely. And just on that point too, something I find to be a mistake on that front is having an offer or something that's not aligned to your core service. So giving away an iPad or a flat screen TV is a nice idea because people will put their name in the box. But the goal is you've got to pick up the phone at some point and contact them or send them an email, et cetera, afterwards. So if you've asked them to put their name in the box for an iPad, or a flat screen TV, and you call up about your services, there's a disconnect. It's like, well, I wanted the iPad, I didn't get it. So no, I don't really at all. Whereas what you're talking about there, which is what I recommend and is spot on, that offer is directly linked to what you do. So when you call them up afterwards and say, hey, listen, we're talking about the 10 free passes, it's like, yeah, great, I'm interested, and people only register for that interest because they're interested in getting fitter. Like you don't put your hand, you don't register for 10 personal training sessions unless you want 10 personal training sessions, So I think that's what we call a relationship building offer. And I'd say as well, I think that's a big one to think through. You might not have a fitness company, but what you might have is you might provide support coordination. Can you provide so many hours of free support coordination? You might do community participation. Can you run a barbecue afterwards for people? We've got clients who offer support workers and staffing, resourcing, and nurses. They might be able to offer, half a day for someone to use one of their staff at no cost, but have something in place where you specifically, your team or you, if you are the team delivering, have the ability to build a relationship with the people in the audience. And that takes a bit of time in the preparation phase. Absolutely. So I think that's really key to it all. So anything else in that prep phase, Scott, you'd recommend?
Yeah, if you got any other little giveaways you can give, so on that point that Mike said, if it's a random pen, right, I think they've been done to death. It's no one's that excited to get a pen, and I personally know for me, the amount of pens I've got that have got a company's name on it, I can't even name the company off the top of my head. So think about one that's sort of relevant to you with the little giveaways to tie into that. So we've got a bunch of different things, but our biggest one we did recently, we had some stickers made up. Stickers are pretty cheap to make. And we've got Just Keep Punching, our little take on the Nemo's Just Keep Swimming. And we give those out. But again, to create that engagement, so it's appropriate to what we do. And especially when we go, Nemo, we've got to just keep punching. And anyone, we get people in, we get people in chairs and so on who can just give 10 little taps on the pad and we go, cool, you've scored a sticker. So then we give that little pride where it's like, hey, nothing's free, you work for that, you gave us 10 punches, you earned yourselves that sticker. And the look of pride on someone's face when they've earned that from doing a boxing session, it might just be 10 tiny taps of the pad, but that's huge as well. And then that creates that awareness too, right? Because then everyone comes past and they go, wow, that guy's giving boxing a go. That looks
Yeah.
interesting. If we're just
Yeah.
handing out stickers, especially stickers that had nothing to do with us or pens, and pens cost more than stickers, by the way,
Yeah.
then no one's going to be remembering us. No one's going to be doing that. But stickers
Yeah.
that someone earns, that really makes a big impact. And that's something we've only done over the last couple of expos. And we're like, oh, yes, we finally figured it out with that.
That's really cool. I like what you're saying there. We're moving now more into like, being at the expo and value there. But what I love about this and what we encourage providers to do is exactly as you're saying. It's like give people an experience. Give me a mini experience of what you do. So it's like if you're into fitness, get me like show me what you're doing. Don't tell me, oh, listen, we do great training sessions. It's like, okay, like what? Have some weights there, have a punching bag, like, and then give them a prize. I love that because, and it's like, so if you run sensory sessions for your community, your capacity building skills, or you run maybe you have a hub. A number of our clients have like a hub where they do cooking classes and they do different skill sets like that. I know one of our exhibitors, ACALs in Sydney, came along and they actually had a whole bunch of succulent plants and they were teaching people how to actually plant because that's actually what they do at the with their clients. So the more you can give an experience of what you do for people and they can experience that, then they go, wow, that's inside the 5 minutes. I've really enjoyed that. Yeah, and if you then have an offer that's aligned to that, then all of a sudden, when you call up the person after the event, they go, yeah, I'd like to do that again or take more of that as well. So any other tips you got, mate, for being at the expo itself?
Yeah, I think just really pushing your staff to keep stepping outside that comfort zone is a big one because I know there's when we've had times where we haven't quite had we had the right quantity of staff, but not the right staff members, or I or someone else is good at kind of writing people to jump onto things, and then people just walk straight past. So I think just keep pushing, pushing, pushing. You've got 2 days to kind of pack a year's worth of marketing in. The reality is you'll get a year's worth of marketing results from just 2 days at an expo. So if you really jump on it, you do that. And there's some of the things. So we've literally doubled the results we get in an expo since we've been doing them. We've been doing expos for maybe 3 years now, I think, and we're at most of them. And our results have literally doubled with how many written inquiries we get purely off these different little things. At a glance, there's not much difference, but the results are literally doubled. So bear that in mind.
Do you have any questions that you have or that you ask people or you encourage your team to share when people are walking past? And any tips you've got for, imagine someone's listening to this, they're perhaps maybe sitting behind the desk before, so they're going to scrap the desk, they're going to scrap their phone, they're going to be out there, they're going to be engaging. Somebody's walking past your booth, right? Do you have any set phrases? Do you encourage your team to ask any specific questions or be in a certain mindset when they're doing that?
Yeah, well, for starters, the best way, if you're a business owner, right, you've got a much more vested interest in this. So you should be out there. But if you've got a staff member, they might not have the same vested interest as you. The best way to get them out from behind a desk, don't have a desk. We do not have a desk that we can sit behind. It's not possible. We don't want it. My team wouldn't anyway. And it's not because we're personal trainers. We're not that fit. We get sore legs at the end of the day too. But the best one is have people out there and have them brochures in their hands. So we'll have our A4 brochure, we'll have an entry form, and we'll have a business card. Every single person who walks past, eye contact, reach out. Would you like to win 10 free personal training sessions? Right? Whatever your word is, win and free are pretty big catchphrases.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Normal thing is people look a little bit confused and like, huh? Someone from the fitness industry, a disability expert, what's with this?
Yeah.
And then they put together and go, oh my God, you can get a personal trainer on the end. Go, yes, that's amazing. Give me more information. But it all starts with that opening line. After the opening line, it's whatever comes naturally, however we can help is what we talk about. But you've got to have your opening line. But I think the body language, no matter what your business is, should be the same. Out in front, put your arm out in front, hold it out in front of people like that. So, and that's everything flows from that naturally because you're passionate about what you do and you're knowledgeable. It will just flow from that, I think.
Totally. If you're already taking notes on this, win and free in that line. So,
Yes.
but it goes back to what we were saying before about the relationship building offer. It's very linked. It's directly linked to what you do. And you're then able to say, hey, so imagine if you do support coordination, would you be interested, would you be interested to win or receive some free support coordination?
Yeah.
And here's the offer. Fill out the details to enter or to actually receive it. Oh, yes, I would. And here's the thing is when you have a specific offer like that, if somebody's not looking for fitness or looking for support coordination, or they're not interested in a community barbecue or capacity building workshop or something of that nature, they're not genuinely interested in that. They're there for something else. Maybe they're there for a mobility device. Well, guess what? You don't want them really entering your free draw to win an iPad because they're not the right audience. They're not the right person for you in the first place. So having a specific offer like that and being upfront with people then gives people it'll act like a magnet. It'll attract those who
Yeah.
are interested. Oh, I like I'd like to some capacity building skills workshops. That'd be great, and you'll get those people. And if they're not, it'll act like a repellent to it as well. So yeah, really love that. Great advice there, Scott. Anything else in the now or what you're doing at the expo, or should we shift into the
No,
upfront?
I think that really covers it. I think stick to those key pointers and then just keep improving on each and every one as you do it.
Perfect, great. And what do you do? Like, so let's say, mate, you're walking out of the expo, okay? You're high-fiving your team. You're saying, "Great job, everyone." Obviously, you rest up. You've got 193 people. Talk to us. What did you do afterwards? When did you take action, and how did you follow up exactly?
Yeah, sure. Well, the first one, the actually one more thing I will add that everyone should do at the Expos. Sorry, just to jump back to that, is this is an easy, I forgot to say it just then. Go around and introduce yourself to every single store holder.
Totally.
So that's what we do. We go around and we mark it off on the map and check everyone has been at every single store holder and just introduce ourselves. It's
Yeah.
as simple as that. Find out what they do. Maybe we have a participant who is interested in what they do as well. So obviously we're looking at our participants helping there. But go around and introduce yourself to every single store holder. And it's as simple as that. It's very rare we see people doing that personally. We maybe across the 2 days, I would reckon we have maybe 6 or 8 people come around and go, hey guys, just thought I'd come say hi. I'm, two lanes over that way at this stand. I just thought I'd come say hi. I reckon 6 or 8 people in the entire 2 days will come and do that. So
Yeah.
you get a lot more foot traffic now, I think, at these expos. Hopefully people do that.
Just on that point alone, can I just share one quick little story on that? There was somebody who came to one of our expos, helped to set up, do the build phase of everything from our side. He just wanted to get involved behind the scenes. He's a big fan of what we do. And then he had a booth where he purchased a booth, and what he did was he set it up. He had a little offer and everything like that in front of it, but he wasn't there. He went around and literally just walked the circuit, introduced himself to everybody, particularly in the quiet times. During the busy times, he was at the booth. The other times he was walking around, he generated 60 different inquiries just from that alone. And at his booth, just filling out the form, he had another 30 from doing that. So I totally
Spot
recommend it.
on. And if you're short on staff, do that. If you've got enough staff, we will typically, let's say we have 5 on at once, we'll typically have minimum 2 trainers at the stand,
Perfect.
and the others are out doing the networking thing. And when it's busy times, we'll have all 5 trainers at the stand. So yeah, it's a big point I forgot. But as far as in post expo, what to do? So the first one to do is, regardless of how you got the contact information, so we'll get business cards. Some people give us their card, or we're networking and we'll grab their card. Or you get the competition entry forms coming in, which hopefully everyone is doing a really cool competition now. Get them into your database, type them out, put them in the system ASAP. So that's probably the first thing to do. From there, send them all a thank you email. For us, it's confirming you're in the draw for the competition and sending a thank you email and also saying, hey, here's a refresher on who we are. Because the reality is people are going to speak to hundreds of people that day sometimes.
Mm.
There's so many good conversations you have with so many great people, and everyone's like you come Monday when they're going, oh, who was that person I spoke to? I don't remember. I wish I remembered their name. And
Totally.
it all becomes a blur after a while, especially if you're in a category where there's lots of other people doing the same thing you do. It's all a blur. If they then get an email in their inbox within the next couple of days after the expo, going, here's a refresher of who we are, they're going to remember you. For us, we put a photo of our stand in there with our team that was there on those
Oh,
days
that's
because
fun.
yeah, they might not remember They might
Yeah.
not remember the actual name, but they're going to remember the friendly smiling faces. So I'll send one from me going,
Good.
"Hey, I'm the tall one in the picture," is normally what it says. There's a heap of people there. I'm 6'5", by the way. And honestly, that even just that simple thing just jogs people's memory with that. So
Yeah.
yeah, and so do that straight away, and that's just simply the time to type all those cards and entry forms into your whatever system you're using to do that. So that's the first one.
Cool.
The next one after that is start picking up the phone and calling all the people who you had a great conversation with, and it's appropriate to call them. It's not going to be appropriate to call everyone. Some people don't want that. They're just going, I just want to enter the competition. So we
Yeah.
have a little tick box about if you're interested in something more or not. So we know who wants to call, who doesn't want to call. Jump on the phone, call those people ASAP, and it could be an NDIS participant or their family member, or it could be another provider that you're networking with, and simply put in the hours to call them.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It's easy to do, but it's so easy to not do as well.
How often do you wait in between the expo finishing and making the call?
Oh, good question. That's a tough one because we know everyone's smashed after the expo. So we will try and get the cards and the bulk email sent out because we've got, hopefully a couple of hundred entries, maybe a couple of hundred business cards from other people we've networked with as well. So that takes a little bit of time to get that all in the system. Plus, all our PT has got a full load of clients or the admin people busy with everything too. So we will basically make sure we get that email sent out within the first week is our sort of guideline we want to be doing. I don't think Monday is that necessarily critical because everyone's smashed by the expo and they still haven't even emptied their great big show bags yet. But that week is when we want to be doing it. And then in an ideal world, we would call everyone within that week too who needed it. But the amount of inquiries we get, sometimes it's the first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
That would then pull in people.
Okay, great. Any other tips in the follow-up phase that you'd recommend?
Yeah, the last one, get it on social media as well. So for us, we will take little videos, photos, all those different things, and we're making little social media content out of it. The same thing is going to happen with this interview as well. So we can spread the word as well and create that awareness because I guess, especially for anyone who's not first and foremost seen as a disability industry, such as us, PT industry, it's about creating awareness that it even exists what you do. So get that, and nothing says that you specialize in disability more than being an exhibitor at a disability expo. So get those things out. I would do it before the expo. Hey, everyone, we'll be exhibiting at the disability expo on whatever date. Come along and see us. You can go on the draw to win whatever it is. And then post expo, be doing the same things as well. Hey, we had an amazing time at the expo. Here's a few shots of the things. Here's our biggest highlights with it. Spread the word about it. And then when you draw the competition that you're going to be doing as well, actually do it on social media as well, so you can draw it. We normally just announce the person's first name and their postcode, or their if it's a common name, first name, first initial, last name, and their postcode, just for privacy reasons. And we actually draw it on social media that way too. So that way also people know we are actually really giving away those sessions as well. And it gets the engagement with people going, damn it, I wish I won. And we're like, we're at the next one, enter again.
Yeah, nice, beautiful. Well, Scott, I really appreciate that, and I'm glad you brought up about the social media aspect. That's one thing I thought as well as you were talking before, because it's a prime opportunity. It's a prime. That's why we do it with our sponsors who join on board with that. We actually do interviews with them at the expos. We have a professional photographer going around at set times that spends about 15 minutes taking this expo. One sponsor got 400 images.
Wow.
He went a bit happy, snappy on that one. But we do that specifically because it's great collateral, digital collateral that sometimes having you and your team all dressed up, particularly if you've got a branded background and so on,
Yeah.
it can take a bit of work and effort. Whereas if you're there, even if you just have a good quality phone, then they take great quality photos, particularly for social media quality. So great opportunity to update it on your website and all your social medias as well. So Scott, I just want to say thank you on behalf of DAC and the entire community. And I hope that people tuning in are really taking note of this. Like you've been doing this for 3 years, consistently across a lot of different expos. So you've been able to share some real gems and some nuggets here that will just help people to just avoid some of those classic mistakes and just to make sure that you're out there maximizing the opportunity. Because it's not just the investment for the booth, it's the time. It's the other resources that you have to put into it. It's your time doing that versus something else. So we recognize that, and I'm just pleased that we've got something like this that we can share with everybody. And I really hope that these ideas are taken away, put into practice. And I hope that people at the upcoming expos are saying to me, Mike, I really love that video. It's really helped us. So, Scott, thank you. And again, and if people want to get in touch, whether they're a provider, whether they're participants, or they know somebody who might need your services, what's the best way for them to reach out and get in touch?
Yeah, so check out our website, fityourability.com.au. And of course, in doing exactly what I've said, if you go fityourability.com.au/win, you can enter that competition to win your 10 personal training sessions. So you keep plugging that as well, right? And we run them every single expo as well. Feel free to reach out to me direct via that. Just mention you saw this video, so Tino sent it to me. Look me up on social media, Scott Hunt. Yeah, and feel free to reach out, whether it be advice about the fitness industry side of it, because that's obviously my sort of expertise, or even just advice about how to run a better stand. I love nothing more than seeing businesses support people who need support and do well out of it. So yeah, happy to help anyone.
Oh, thanks for that, Scott. That's awesome, and I love how you're still plugging the prize there too. But yeah, thank you again for all these nuggets. I know they're really going to help a lot of people as they're going through this. And if you're tuning in and you're watching this and you're interested to know more about the upcoming expos, just there's likely going to be some more details below on the page. Feel free to fill out any of those details. Get in touch with our team. We'd love to help you, and our team also helps you to develop a relationship building offer as well when they have a strategy call with you as well. So feel free to get in touch with our team on that to help to allow them to help you to maximize your results at the expo as well. For now, over and out. Scott, I really appreciate all your time and thank you again.
Thanks. See you at the expo, everyone.
See you, bye.